Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today, we're going to be talking about the recent Skull Merchant change and how I think the DBD community is kind of like getting into this have your cake and eating it too kind of mentality when it comes to the Skull Merchant change, and how I feel about that, and how perhaps we should probably, to the best of our ability, kind of, chillax a little bit and use some examples of things that have happened similarly in Dead by Daylight's history to show you that, hey, this isn't necessarily the end of the world. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, like you're not privy to what I'm referring to here, is that Skull Merchant is getting a rework in the PTB currently that is currently out and will be coming as a mid-chapter update soon, where she is no longer to be able to put drones over gens and just have a big radius where she can see where people are inside those drones and, do the whole 3-gen strat that she's been doing, since people essentially figured it out back in the day, which has obviously been one of the most frustrating things about Dead by Daylight. I have very, very oftenly said that out of everything in Dead by Daylight, I don't consider basically anything to really be a mistake or an outright just like wrong choice. Usually things can be adjusted in some way or just kind of shifted around to be, made good. I do think the design of the original Skull Merchant was outright a flat out mistake and had no redeemable qualities whatsoever, and was just kind of an extremely unhealthy thing for the video game that needed to go as soon as possible. So me and basically most of the entire Dead by Daylight community, besides the people who actively played Skull Merchant, I've been lobbying for her to get a change for quite some time, and lo and behold, it has finally come through in this recent PTB that she is getting basically all the utility that she used to enact that 3-gen taken away. I assumed everybody would be happy to see this and be, throwing their hands up there like, yes, finally. We don't have to endure these like 30-40 minute games where somebody quite literally has zero input and wins the game anyway. Finally, that goes away. But I've actually seen that one of the majority opinions is that they absolutely ruined the character, and now she is the worst character in the game, and behavior made a huge failure with her. Now, just gonna, tour that statement a little bit before we go into my main point. I don't think she's the worst character in the game. There are people out here saying she is worse than Trapper, and I don't think she's worse than Trapper. I played her for like an hour and a half on the PTB, and it may just be people still getting used to it, people still getting, the handle on, facing the new version of the Skull Merchant. But I was able to get moderately consistent results. I wasn't getting like pub stomped or anything. I was getting results most of my games, and I was mostly just playing her as like a chase killer, and that was it, right? Which is kind of like what the initial idea with the Skull Merchant change was, is kind of shift her more towards someone who chased a bit and used her drones and chase. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna fib to you and tell you that she's good or even even average. She is definitely bottom 5 in the game. I don't know, I'd probably place her, above Pig, below Pig, just around Pig, around there. She's not fantastic, but people love and play Pig. People love and play the bottom 5 characters in the game despite their strength. So I don't know, just want to throw that out there, that I don't think she's the worst character in the game, but she is definitely like bottom 5. So just keep that in mind. But my main point being that after enduring over a full year and more of just people just standing still in place and winning games just by kicking gens and patrolling them, you think this would be kind of like a happy thing for people, but people are up in arms saying that, well, the character's ruined now and she's just garbage, as if you guys were having any plans to play her anyway, or cared about this character literally at all besides hating them before this point. And it's just kind of strange. And I mean, it's not just strange in the sense that it's trying to like have your cake and eat it too. Like, I want the Skull Merchant of old gone, but I also want her to be like a BA tier character. Here's where it makes even less sense, is that this actually has pretty firm precedent in Dead by Daylight that this is not the last thing they're gonna do with this character. Like far from it, far from it. And a similar situation where this has happened before, and it's been happened more than this, is that a good example of this is Legion. When Legion first released, Legion had not having to do with the gens, but a very, very similar situation where because of Legion's power, Legion could just win things for free. And, there's plenty of history of Legion's power videos that have existed. I've reacted to some of them, but the TLDR is, they could do this quirky little thing where deep wounds used to work differently, so they could chase you, hit you with the frenzy. It didn't knock them out of frenzy immediately, so they just turn around, break, chase, turn back around, hit you, lower your deep wound bar until it was gone. Essentially, they could just, down you without actually winning the chase, which was really, really frustrating. So they, you know, took that away from Legion. And the Legion that came after that they replaced it with was a bottom 10, bottom 5 character, because it's not like now where if you chain hits, you get the 5th hit down and stuff like that. Essentially, his kit was very, very rudimentary. And essentially, if the team split up at all, which is what you should be doing in Dead by Daylight, you really shouldn't be grouping up too incredibly much as Survivor anyways, you weren't going to have a good time as Legion. But that was better. That was better to have them in that state instead of just like outright winning chases for free and having it be a miserable experience. The killer's not having too much fun because, well, they're not really pulling anything off that's like exciting or entertaining. And it's not like the survivors are having fun because obviously they're losing their chases for free. So yeah, it was bad. It was better that they put them into that bottom 10 zone instead of having them out here ruining game after game after game after game of Dead by Daylight. And lo and behold, after a while, they came back, they revisited the character, and they decided to, you know, beef up that base kit and give it a little bit more. That way, Legion players, because people still play Legion anyway. I want to say that first and foremost. Even in that bottom 10 state, people loved to play Legion. Like, people were diehard Legion fans, despite the fact that they're a bottom 10 character. This doesn't mean that the character is dead, like every content creator who's bored and has nothing to talk about right now is just up in arms screaming about. Like, nobody, like, people will play this character. As a matter of fact, I feel like more people will be compelled to play the character now that they don't get like hosed and inflamed for playing them now. And I've had people tell me that in my Twitch chat. It's like, I'm going to be happy to play Skull Merchant without people immediately DCing, immediately flaming me in the after chat, because, well, I can't do the things that people hate me for anymore, you know? And it was the same thing with Legion. When Legion got knocked out of their win for free version of their power, people still played them and played them in mass, and you know, they were obviously like, hey, I wish this character was better, and they lobbied for that. But like, people still loved and played that character a ton. And it wasn't the death of the character like everybody's like, you know, saying with the Skull Merchant situation. And lo and behold, they came back around and beefed up the base kit a bit, given the 5th hit down and stuff like that. And now the character is in a pretty okay place. I mean, you know, you can say what you want about Mending Simulator, but in terms of like strength and stuff like that, like, they're in a pretty all right spot. They're about where they should be. So this is something that has precedence in the Dead by Daylight. You know, I don't know. Just, what would be the word here? This has precedence in Dead by Daylight's history that, you know, they try to just at the very least stop the awful thing from happening that everybody dreads and everybody hates going up against them with good reason. And then they put them in kind of a middling state, a very not so great state, where they kind of like retool them over time and finally get them back up to like a or B tier zone. So TLDR, if I have a point in this video, is just be careful about having your cake and eating it too. You know, be happy that Skull Merchant is not the way she used to be anymore, or at least will soon not be in the mid chapter when the mid chapter rolls through. And this is not the death of the character. This is not the last time they're going to touch this character. They will revisit this. They will make it better if you really detest the fact that she's going to be a bottom 5 character. Which, once again, like I said kind of cheekily earlier, I don't know why so many people suddenly care about wanting to play Skull Merchant when so many people have spent over a year hating her, but I don't know where that comes from. Yeah, it will be fine. It's just, we're not even outside of PTB yet, so who knows what'll even change before you know, when the mid chapter actually drops, what they change about her from PTB to them. So just, you know, do not freak out. Cool your jets a little bit, and I'm sure it'll be fine. TLDR. Anyways, what do you guys think about the Skull Merchant changes? Do you think they're good? Do you think they're a failure? Let me know down in the comments below. On that, it's gonna be it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching. But I do upload daily, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.